let's check out our second letter. Very short one. Sisters is looking interesting. Okay, let's get into it. Hello, sisters. I have a very delicate problem. I'm a man who is addicted to oral sex, and I don't know how to quit this addiction. I travel to places just to satisfy my oral sex cravings. I feel it's because I'm unemployed at the moment, very much so. So I need your help, with the help of the viewers and listeners, to get a job for me to keep me busy. Please, 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 please help me.
Hey.
Wow, yeah. Oh yeah.
He's hired.
He's hired.
Yeah.
He really.
Only if you're serious. That's.
So you have a job already. If you are listening to us, you have a job already. Because this unemployment.
Yeah, because
No, this is. I was about to say this is a.
When you're in the bar with him, there's people. Where's he? He's behind closed doors doing things.
He'll find other purpose for the syrups he's been using.
Oh my God! I don't want to think about that.
It's okay. Advice.
Wow! I'm starting with you, Felicia.
Hi.
Since you talked about the syrup and you just giving me
Visuals.
a visual right
But
now.
this one, let me sip before I come in. We all need to sip. Well, I'm curious to know when this addiction started, what caused this, and I hope it wasn't from abuse or a result of abuse, because most people, from experience and from what I hear, most people who have these kinds of addiction had some sort of abuse growing up. So if that is your problem, or regardless of what it is, first you need help. You need to find a psychologist to start talking to, and you need to stop being alone. Because one thing that also fuels addiction is loneliness. So whenever you are alone, then it sets in and you start doing all the things.
No, but this is oral sex, remember?
Oral sex. So yeah,
So it takes two.
it takes two. So, but the thing is,
He should be alone.
He should rather be.
no, normally with these things, the tendency comes in when you're alone. So it kicks in when you're alone, then you start reaching out or looking for someone to engage or indulge with. Do you get it? So stop being alone, and this means stay occupied. I like that you are looking for a job, but we all know the period we are in with all these structural adjustments, whatever, with all these Bretton Woods institution, blah, blah, blah. It might be difficult to find a job now, so create a job. I always ask myself that. I wonder when young guys stay at home and they say, oh, I don't have a job. Find a cutlass. You don't even have to buy a cutlass. Only I don't. I'm actually serious. I mean it, because this afternoon someone came to clear my wheat and he charged almost 200 Ghana cedis. So I know it's lucrative. And you don't need any startup capital. He literally used my own cutlass and I sharpened that cutlass and he charged me 200. So you can start from my house. You can start from your neighbor. So just walk and start clearing weeds and stay busy. Trust me, by the time you get home, you'll be so tired that you won't think about oral sex. That is one. I'm not joking, guys. 2, car wash. I mean it. I'm laughing. I mean it. I struggle with driving my car to the washing bay to have a wash. Free business idea. Get your sponge and towel, house to house.
Hey,
start washing
the victims are in the house to house.
Yes. I mean it. Go and start washing cars. By the time you get home, my brother, you'll be so tired, you won't be thinking about oral sex. So stay busy. 1, seek help. That is very important. Find someone to talk to, someone you trust. It could be your pastor in church. It could be your church elder. But be careful, this person is not someone who would judge you Rather, they will hold your hands and help you through your healing process. Also, find something to do at church. You can go to church and sweep your church. You can sign up to be an usher. You can join prayer warriors. Find something. Stay busy. And stay busy with the right crowd. Be careful not to find yourself in a place that would trigger your addiction. It's sad that you are going through this. And I really, really wish you could tell us what caused it, because the first step to finding solution to any problem is finding the root cause, so that you can nip it in the back and find a way forward. But yes, I'm serious. When you start weeding, it's a good job. Before you could say you have a title, you are landscaping specialist, blah 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 blah. Yeah. Put a title to it and go for it. If it's car washing, you could be detailing, car detailing, polishing, blah blah blah. Now people find crazy names for all sorts of things they do. But keep busy. Find something that will keep you active. Be involved with the right crowd. If you go to church, this is the time to be actively involved in church activities. Because I had a friend, to the memory of Asher Ray, a pencil celebrity. He used to tell me this back in school. He used to say that, you know why we go for midweek meetings? Yeah. He says Sundays when you go for church, it's edification. Then usually the next midweek meeting is on Tuesday. So by Monday, what you learned on Sunday is drizzling away. So Tuesday, go and top up. Then you have Wednesday to take a break. Somewhere Thursday, Friday, go and know
for the prayer.
A word of prayer, just to keep you more ignited. And Sunday you go back. So if you are actively involved in church activities, if you are not a believer to whatever you believe in, luckily Muslims go to the mosque all the time. So do your 5-day prayer, 5 prayers a day. Stay active with something that you don't need to invest money or put money into it till you find a job. And yes, some of the few jobs I've mentioned are helpful. Do something. You can even wash. You go, they'll give you a bucket, water, soap, whatever you wash. They'll give you food and still pay you. And please stop staying home alone and stop hanging out with people who trigger your addiction. That's my one piece.
Yeah, Olivia.
I mean, Felicia said it all. But what I want to add to what she said, especially the going to church bits. Me, I'm a church girl. I love Jesus. I love everything church. But the right church, of course, not Dumkania kind of story. Those who don't understand what Dumkania means, like people who want to put your light off kind of people. But the most important thing about deliverance is realizing that you have a problem and actually wanting to do something about it, because Jesus can only help you. That is if you're a Christian, if you're ready and willing to let it go. If you don't want to let it go, then there's no way. You know, some people would say with their mouth that, oh, I really don't like what I'm doing. They go and do it because they're addicted, and then they begin to feel guilty, and then they go back to it. But the thing is, once you decide to make a conscious effort and you go on your knees, sometimes, I mean, I've heard so many testimonies of people actually going on their knees, one genuine moment on your knees and just surrendering it all to God, a genuine prayer to God the Father, telling him that I don't want this anymore. God, please help me out. And once you have that personal talk with God, God always comes through. There's 1,000,001 testimonies of people who have had genuine deliverances, not even having to go to some church or anything, but God has actually come through with them. So it's about your personal walk with God. And I always say God always comes through. If you don't treat God as a spare tire, you know, he'll always come through for you no matter what. And when you put the situation into his hands, he comes through for you. So that's my number one immediate go-to solution. Go on your knees and ask God to carry it. If you're a Muslim, to try as much as possible, like Felicia was saying, be true to God, be true to your calling as a child of God, and just go on your knees and pray. If you take God seriously, he'll take you seriously. And as much as possible, stay with positive people, do positive things that wouldn't, stay busy. I don't want to reiterate the facts or the things that Felicia said, but in a nutshell.
Okay. Apart from spirituality, let me just say that the fact that you speak about your addiction like this, I think that it means that you are not sleeping with one person. You are having the oral sex with multiple people. Gentlemen.
But now I'm tempted to ask, what kind of oral sex? Is he the one giving, or
no? Anybody who is addicted to oral sex, I'm sure he's the one giving. because you can't be addicted to people giving you. To find people giving you at will like that is not easy. But for you to want to, for you to want to give it,
the condition of the place.
exactly. So for you to want to give it, that one open sesame, come and do it, because especially for women, we have a lot of men who do not want to do oral sex for women because of whatever reason there is. So when you have a man who wants to do it, then it's more likely that you get candidates. But the reverse, where women will just be giving to you and you're unemployed, they're not getting paid for it, I don't think that is a likely.
Yeah.
So now, as a woman, let me tell you that the condition down there, there are so many things that go on down there. And especially when you encounter women who are not properly well kept, or have suffered some form of STI, or have some form of infection. And the sad part is that not all of the infections present itself as even a bad smell or even discharge. Some of them are dormant. So there are certain sexually transmitted diseases that have women as carriers, but it's the men who exhibit it. So you can even get oral gonorrhea, for instance.
True.
So there are so many infections you could be prone to. That is why it is advised that when you want to practice oral sex, you must be in a committed relationship where both of you take care of yourselves
Together.
properly. So
Please,
that
again, I like that.
take care of yourselves
Slow motion.
properly. So that when you are doing the anumbomskis, you understand, you can enjoy it, she can enjoy it, and there's no after wahala. So if the Bible doesn't scare you enough, if the Quran doesn't scare you enough, let your health scare you. For you to know that you are opening yourself up to a lot of infections. Now, work is good, but real change comes from within.
Yeah.
Because we have 24 hours in a day. Most works 8 to 10 hours, unless of course you are Chris Carter who works 23 hours a day. 10 to 12 hours, maximum 10, 12, you are done working. Sleep between 4 to 6 hours. You have some 6, 8 hours ideal to do something with yourself. So if that change is not coming from within, even if it's 2 hours break, an addiction is an addiction. An addiction is such that no matter how busy you are, when you get 30 seconds break, you want to just quickly go and get a high from whatever addiction that you have. So the problem here, my gentleman, is for you to look within yourself. Luckily for us, you have accepted the fact that what you are doing is wrong. So you are actually in the period of acceptance. And once you've accepted that what you are doing is wrong and it has to change, the problem is at least half solved. Then the question is that how do you go about it? I don't know what brought you to that point where you realize that what you've done is wrong and you need to change. All I want to tell you is that see a psychologist or a psychiatrist. I don't know which one works for this one. But by all means, see a professional. Like Felicia said, some of these addictions may have a background. It may have a background of abuse. It may have a background of something painful happening to them. And when it happened to them, this was the first action they took and they felt better. So they've forgotten about the pain, but the effect of the pain still lingers on. So maybe you need to see a psychologist or a psychiatrist sometimes to take you back into your cognitive to find out exactly what caused this kind of addiction. What was the scenario? What happened? Now, once you go through that process, then you can gradually get better. But my dear, STIs, STDs, they are real. Now, beyond that, there's something known as soul ties. When you are exchanging fluids, underground fluids. When you are exchanging underground fluids, there are a lot of spiritual things that happen. And sometimes you don't understand what happens to you later in life. But it's just because you're going to touch a candidate you shouldn't have touched. You've gone to swallow some juice you shouldn't have swallowed. You've meddled your head, your beard, your mustache, everything, things you shouldn't have done. So, gentlemen, if the Bible doesn't scare you, if Islam doesn't scare you. At least your health should scare you. And spiritually, when I'm talking about spirituality, I'm not talking about any particular religion, but there are certain things, you know, sex is not, sex is not, you see, if people understand the action of sex and the consequences, they won't throw it about like that.
Yes.
So look at some of these things and be mindful of what you have been doing. You are lucky you've gotten out. Maybe your unemployment is because you are doing too much of this. Focus on the right things and you'll be okay.
Yeah.
But the good thing is that you have accepted it, you have owned it. That is a step to recovery. Don't look down on yourself. People have skeletons in their cupboards. So don't let somebody judge you for being what you are. But I'm happy you know that it's not good. Let's take steps at getting you better. See a psychologist, seek help.
That was a deep one, but I actually agree with you, Rosie, everything you said at the last bit, you know, by him accepting that he has a problem. Because it's not really easy to come out and say, look, I have a problem and I want to share. So on that note, I want to say a very big thank you to this guy that sent this. Thank you for sharing. It's important for us to actually thank you because not a lot of people come out with, you know, what they are going through. And this is not just one of those relationships problems. This actually also has to do with your mental state. So thank you so much. Thank you. And sisters, I would like to say a very big thank you to each and every one of you.
Thank you.
You always make this thing easy. Because left to me alone, I'll be like, sex addiction. Which one is this? But yeah, you guys make it easy. Thank you so much. All right, so on that note, it's time for us to take a quick break and we'll be back. Hello guys, if you're just joining us, this is Sister right here on City TV, and if you're listening to us, it's 97.3 City FM. Well, we've read the letters and the sisters have shared their thoughts, you know, we've put it on the table, we've dissected everything, and we actually got some solutions, and I hope and pray that they work for you. But before we end the show, I would like to share my final thoughts on each of the letter that was sent. So the first letter was a man saying, I don't want my wife to be a career woman anymore, and my wife is happily choosing her career over me. First of all, I just want to say, I don't know if you're a young man or old man, but dear man, I think you already knew the kind of wife that you married. I know the kind of woman, you actually know the kind of woman that you went for. So it would be unfair for you to try to dim her light right now. I think this is the time for you to actually sit and reflect on what you really want for yourself. Because I feel this is you being insecure. I don't want to push it, but if I have to push it, what you're exhibiting is a bit or undertone of an abusive behavior. And I'm sure you've not really thought of it like that. But if what's happening keeps going on, you trying to stop a woman, an ambitious woman that has been all about work, education, developing herself from the get-go that you met her. If you want to dim all that now, just for her to make you happy, because you don't feel confident or you don't feel comfortable that she is being known, that she is being worshipped at work. Let me not even say worshipped, but celebrated at work or outside. I feel like if I was a man and my wife is being celebrated, I'll be like, yeah, that's my wife. That's my beautiful wife. You never really said anything wrong about her. You said she's beautiful, she's ambitious, she's smart, and she always wants to, you know, develop herself, and she loves her career. What is bad in that? You didn't even say she's a bad mother. If you didn't mention that she's a bad mother or she's a bad wife, what is the problem? Okay, that silence just means think about it. And I'm sure when you think about it, you will realize that you are probably the problem. You need to work on yourself. There's some insecurity going on there. And if it's not worked on, it can be borderline abusive. All right? So just think about it and try to work on yourself and have the conversation with your wife. Because from what you sound like, or from how you sound, it looks like you have, some deep hate inside going on, or something boiling in right now that is negative, which needs to stop. Just take a chill pill, think about everything, and work on your insecurities. Now, the second letter about the young man that is addicted to oral sex. Well, I would just say it's probably some form of sex addiction. And once more again, I'd like to say a very big thank you to you for trusting us to read out your letter, and for trusting us to, talk about your letter. It's not really easy for people to share, some of these problems that they are dealing with, especially when it has to do with your mental state. I don't know what caused it, but this is time for you to speak to a therapist, a psychologist, or a sex therapist, all right? Because it's not normal. And I'm sure you have already, noticed it yourself, that you're probably doing it too much. So it's either you meet a psychologist, a psychiatrist, or a sex therapist. I don't know where you can find a sex therapist, but if you're in Ghana and if you're listening to us, you can head over to Kolebu. They have psychologists and therapists there. They can actually meet you and they can help you. And from there, I think everything can work out fine. And also try and get a job. We have already offered you a job, though. Bruce have said that he will give you a job. So if you're interested, just write to us, and then you can proceed with that. But thank you for sending in your letters. And if you're interested in sending in your letters for us to help you decipher whatever problem that you're going through, all you need to do is send your letter via sisterislive@gmail.com, and we might be reading your letter next on the show. Remember that this show is brought to you by Gino for all that sweet, tasty jollof, stew, gravy, sauces, soups. Gino truly cares. My name is Chris Carter, and this has been Sister.